Okay, welcome to Myth Lab. This is something I've been developing for 6 months, trying to replace some of the worn-out mythology that's prevalent in our world. My perspective is that we need new stories, new myths for the transition that will take place, for the future that will be built. So Myth Lab is a place where we build those stories, build those myths. Can you buy that? Do you think that the classic myths are still as vibrant, as important as they used to be?
No, not really. I think a lot of them are already outdated. We need to create new stories so that people will know what's going on in the world, more, more up to date. The all Greek mythology is, sometimes I think irrelevant.
Okay.
So, yes, it would be nice to if people, I think, create new myths so they're more aware of what's going on.
Okay, good. My point of view is that I'm taking permaculture, transition, alchemy, other sacred ideas, and putting them into the new myth, into the Myth Lab. That's the basis for the mythology that I'm creating. Not Zeus, not Pan, not those cats. But what we're trying to do now is to augment and bolster this transition with new mythology. So the process you have in front of you, there's a process map of sorts. It's a 5-stage opportunity. And the first one is to find an artifact, something that will generate interest and the new mythology at the end of the 5 steps. So on page 2, you'll see something that I've identified from Palo Alto. This is a sculpture that was part of the color of Palo Alto many years ago, and I grew to it, gravitated towards it. And so what I want to take you through is how to take that reality, that sculpture that was in the City Hall Plaza, how to take that and elevate it into new form, use analogies, symbol, perhaps color, take it through that, and then find a story to wrap around it, which will teach us something new about where we're going. So that's what the artifact is. It is a former real thing. It's about 20 by 8. It has wings. As you can see, it's sort of a mailbox in front. So there's a lot of things we can discuss about what that is, and then take it forward and change it. So what do you guys see when you look at this artifact? What does it mean to you as it is, or as it was in Palo Alto?
As it is, I think it looks like a multi-use structure.
A multi-use structure. What are the uses of the multi-use?
It could be a store.
Okay.
It could be a place to live.
Okay.
It could be a place to hang out.
A clubhouse.
Yeah,
of sorts.
clubhouse, yeah. Or it could be an office. Although there's Wi-Fi everywhere, so you can work there.
Yeah, so it could be analogous to when the witch's house fell on her in The Wizard of Oz. Came crashing down and killed her, and they took her shoes, right, her slippers, and went on with the story. I see sort of an airplane or an air submarine. I see a green building project that's gone amok. That's now a sculpture. Okay. Okay. Well, that's all good. That's all good if you think of that.
Right.
Anything else to add about what it is in reality in 2009? I think we covered it pretty well.
Well, the wing, so to speak, looks like solar panels.
Very good. So there is some instruction there. There is a primer there that we're going to use later on as we build a myth. Okay, that's what I think. And I should say that I haven't written this myth. I brought this artifact today to transition Palo Alto to write it with you, or at least to get it started. So, what's step number 2?
Analyze the artifact.
Okay, we kind of did that. Do you think we kind of covered it?
Right.
Okay. And then phase 3 is?
Mythic imprintation.
Okay, interesting. My friend, could you give that gentleman a handout? Mythic imprintation. That is the key to turning us into a historical object into a mythic object, or a mythic force, an alchemic force. That's step 3 is the most complicated, but to me the most joyous of this process. So, how can we develop other stories or element or other definitions of this sculpture that transcend what it was in 2009? What kind of things do we need to talk about? What kind of flow? What kind of imagery are we changing here? Any ideas about that? Well, I'll give you one. This thing came from aliens, outer space, crashing Palo Alto, and it brought some new DNA for the planet. That's the sort of narrative that I'm trying to get at here. That sort of short narrative will take us into characterization and plot and a new myth. Okay? Now, if you'd like that, we can just move on forward. Do you like the idea of this thing coming from aliens and crashing in Palo Alto?
Sure.
Very easy.
Sounds like
Sounds possible.
How about some transition Palo Alto folks creating a more efficient dwelling?
Oh, this is sort of an archetype for the community
Right.
that they came and built.
Right.
It wasn't this fancy Nancy artist at all.
Nope.
It wasn't the art commission who wanted to get this thing done. It was a bunch of transitionites. Lord have mercy. Good. See, that's what I'm talking about in this mythic, revelation, if you want. I don't know. Everything's biblical these days.
Okay.
All right.
Is this an actual sculpture somebody made?
Yeah, they deposited it at City Hall in 2009.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that exists.
there?
No.
Probably to another dimension of time and space. It looks a lot like the TARDIS.
Who?
The TARDIS.
What's that?
You haven't watched Doctor Who? The
I'm
longest running sci-fi BBC program.
I'm
in
only
history?
54, so
It started in the 60s. It's still going on.
I like it.
The TARDIS is a British police box.
Okay.
You go inside, and it's immense inside. It's small outside, but it's a huge spacecraft, an intergalactic time-traveling spacecraft.
Nice. Okay, there's another element in this mythic morass. This the time element. Beautiful. So not only did it come from aliens, give us new DNA, built out of construction plans by transitionites, right? It warps time. And now we're in a parking lot giving away all our stuff to our neighbors. Does that follow, or is that too much of a leap?
I think you lost me somewhere.
So, tell me what you think mythology is. Just give me a broad definition.
Mythology. So I think mythology is stories made up by people's imaginations to answer unanswerable questions, which includes all the religions. No? Did I go too far now?
No, there's no wrong answer here. No wrong answer. But for the sake of our experience together, I'd like to try to take this conversation into a story a story framework and look at the story around this thing coming down, and just to see where we could take it. Okay. All right. So this thing comes down to the planet Palo Alto. Right here it is. It's built by transitionites. That's close enough. I know what it is. Transitionites. It has new DNA.
It's what?
New DNA.
Oh, new DNA.
And there's a time warp factor here too. We'll just let that ride. So, who the hell would be in this story? You know, who's the protagonist here? Who's the antagonist? I'm trying to get it real nuts and bolts now. I'm trying to write a new myth with you. Anybody got an idea about the protagonist?
You mean a particular individual?
Yeah, somebody who's affected. Somebody might be a leader. Come on, you guys, you've done so well so far. You're almost home.
A leader of the alien species that's crash landed?
It could be. Let's put that down. Leader of the aliens. Or it could be a leader of the transition movement too, right?
Right.
Okay. Okay, so can we come up with some conflicts, some struggle here in this context with these heroes? We'll call them heroes for now. What's going on here in Palo Alto? Let's call it 2050, so you can get a time frame.
People who still insist on using fossil fuels.
Okay, so there's fossil fuelites. And then who's sort of in the other camp?
Transition. I thought we already talked about that.
No, this is something else. This is the conflict.
Oh, okay.
I'm sensing a strong transitionist bias here.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, I told the folks that came early, I'm writing new myths based on transition values. So it's natural that they come into play here today. Permaculture as well. So now somebody's going to steal the new DNA, right? Take over something. How's that? You like that? Or do you want another sort of big conflict?
Got to be conflict.
Well, there's got to be outcomes, right? There's got to be a morass of a value at the end for the myth. What is it teaching us? If there's no conflict, it's really a wormy myth, I think.
What's in the DNA that makes it so important?
Ask him. No, the new DNA is new seed material to eat better without Monsanto. So the uglies, the fossil fuelites, are trying to get it from the transition folks, so they can make this happen and challenge the status quo and be rich and famous. You know, that would be a conflict. Okay, how about some outcomes? There's plenty of outcomes, right? Because that's the easy part. The fuelites steal it. They put up a big factory in the middle of the valley, and they take over California.
Or it could be the other way around.
Right, the transition put up the factory and they take over California.
No, or the fuelites become transitionites.
The fuelites are converted.
Yes.
Oh, there's a nice outcome. They all join in and be happy.
Right. Why not?
That's nice. Okay, cool. This is better than I thought. So what's the moral of the story if you could be cliche?
Shouldn't lose hope.
No, if you build it, they will come.
Oh.
Of course, I didn't make that up. No, there's always hope in the DNA.
Pay a royalty.
Yeah, you don't have to pay royalty.
There's hope and trust here. If we build it, we can make it happen. Okay? So that's what I'm talking about. That's the process I'm working with. And that's why I showed up here today. Thanks for coming.
Seems to me, if I may epilogue,
Epilogue it.
that most, if not all, of humanity's problems result from the spectrum between people who have hope and trust and empathy and people who are pathologically self-centered. And we all fall somewhere in that line between those two extremes.
Right.
And the ones who are pathologically self-centered are more likely to be the conquerors. They're more willing to kill whoever gets in the way.
Right.
And that's what stymies humanity's progress.
Why do you think they are like that? I mean, how come they seem like they become more powerful? They're so self-centered.
Because those who are not self-centered are more empathetic. They are not going to they're not willing to hurt other people for their own gains.
So is this a peaceful revolution, do you think? Is this where we're at?
Sounds like it. This outcome, yeah.
Yeah, it can be. If we share the magic.
Somehow the pathologically self-centered has been shown the value of hope and trust.
Very nice. Thank you, sir.
Nice reading. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.